Hello, candy lovers all around the world. Today we have a special episode. I'm gonna make some awesome, super awesome, duper awesome candy inspector brownies. I'm gonna use for the chocolate, of course, cocoa powder. I have 1 cup here of cocoa powder. I'm gonna use the Cadbury Bournville leftovers that I had. I'm gonna chop them up and add them to the mix. And some Hershey's Chip-Its. So in terms of ingredients, we have a cup of butter here, and it has to be melted butter. No, it's not melted yet, but we'll melt it in a second. So a cup of butter. We have 4 room temperature eggs. They absolutely need to be room temperature. We have 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 4 teaspoons of vanilla powder, but you can use regular vanilla extract. We also have 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and we have here 2 cups of sugar, so just regular sugar. So let's get things going. Before you start, make sure you preheat the oven at 350 degrees, and let's melt the butter. And just like that, with the super awesome editing of the candy inspector, we have the butter melted. So again, you can see a bit of chunks here and there, but just shake it like this, it will melt. It's not too hot, and it's gonna be perfect. So first we start, like I said, here we have the bowl with 2 cups of sugar, medium-sized bowl. Take the butter, pour it all in. I really hope you guys are seeing it well, because it's a little tight in space. Just take a spatula and just make sure that all the deliciousness of the butter is within the sugar. And then we can take the 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You can use canola oil, you can use vegetable oil, you can use coconut oil if you want. It's all good. It's just to give it a bit of sort of juiciness to the brownies. Keep it moistiness, that's what I was looking for. So it's all in. And then we can take the eggs and start cracking. No, I'm not a chef, so don't laugh at my egg cracking skills. I can't crack them with one hand. Sometimes I can, sometimes I cannot. So that you don't make fun of me. And by the way, you don't need gloves for this. This is just my signature candy inspector move there with gloves. There you have it. And once it's done, you just need to you don't need to really whisk it. You can just use the spatula. I don't use a whisk. And just go like this until it's all mixed together. So it took me about a minute of just shaking it with the spatula. Again, you really don't need a whisk. If you want to use one, sure, no problem there. No problemo. And you have this sort of thick, sugary with the eggs texture. And now we can add the super awesome vanilla powder. I love using vanilla powder. It just gives it a better, for me, I would say, better taste. Although I could be wrong. And the salt, of course. The salt there, and shake it again. So now that the salt and the vanilla is all incorporated to the super awesome batter, we can start taking the all-purpose flour, and we have to strain it. I think that's the correct term, right? Strain it. If it's not, write in the comment section. Strain it or sieve it. And make sure that, okay, take this out of the way for now. And you have to do the same thing with the cocoa powder. Super important, this part. You'll always end up having lumps like this at the end, so just go with your fingers and you want to extract every single last bit with the chocolatey goodness. And there we have it. So now that it's all incorporated, we can just mix it slowly. And don't worry, it might look counterintuitive, because usually when you bake things, yeah, you pour all the liquid on top of the powder, I think. I could be wrong. Just keep on mixing it slowly. Don't over rush it. And here, definitely here, don't use any whisk. Just use your spatula and go, because you want some lumps. It's fine. It's gonna be delicious lumps. Trust me. Just trust the process. Trust the process. Yeah. It's gonna take a bit of time, but you can start seeing the sort of brownie look. Look at that. Look at that. Oh yeah. Jiggly wiggly wiggly. So don't overshake it. Now that it looks like the batter when everything is well incorporated and you have the beautiful cacao color, then we're good to go. Now what we need to do is chop up some bar chocolate. I really recommend like a dark chocolate, not too dark and not too on the lower end of milk chocolatey flavor, but you can definitely add milk chocolate as well. It's super delicious. But if you don't want it too sweet, go with dark chocolate up to, I would say, max like 85% cacao. This is a Cadbury Bournville. I'm not sure what's the percentage, but it's sort of sweet, dark chocolatey deliciousness. And for sure here, by the way, this step you can add as much chocolate as you want. Just don't overdo it. Don't put more chocolate than the batter, but just go nuts, go crazy. So let's get to it. I'm gonna move this here. Now be careful here with the chocolate cutting, because it's not like you're chopping some potatoes or vegetables or anything. It's quite hard. So go very slowly. I'll just show a little bit and then I'm gonna skip. So just a little bit. And you can have some big chunks too, it's fine. It's gonna be delicious in your batter of brownies. If you have a chef's knife, I highly recommend. If not, you can use a smaller knife. Just don't overdo it and be very careful. So there you have it. Now that the chocolate bar, and I highly recommend using a chocolate bar or a baking chocolate, because it's gonna give it like an extra creamy deliciousness to the brownie. And you see, this is the size that we're aiming. You can go a bit bigger, like it's fine if you have chunks like this, absolutely no problem. But there we have it. So now we can add it to our batter. And I'm gonna go crazy here. I'm gonna take some more. So it's really up to you. You can put more, you can put less. I'm gonna put some more because I want it to be extra chocolatey. So, if you don't have a chocolate bar, but you do have some of those chip bits, so chocolate bits, you can definitely add, I would say, like a cup, at least a cup or more, and you should be good to go. So now just shake it slowly so that you don't break the pieces of the chocolate bar even more, and that everything is well incorporated. Trust me, it's gonna be awesome. And one of the reasons I like to use the spatula is because I can really just grab all the edges beautifully. And there you have it. Everything's incorporated, everything's ready. Now let's put it in the round thing. I'm forgetting my English. In a pan of some sort, and put it in the oven. So let's put everything in there and put it in the oven. Some people like to put some butter. Some people like to put some oil. I personally prefer putting some parchment paper. Just some parchment paper. And believe me, it's going to be awesome. Now, I know there's some people who like their edges of brownies super crispy. But with this type of sort of pan, like a darker colored one, they get super crispy and super like burnt almost. So it's not super enjoyable. But if you have a lighter pan, it's better. But for me here, I'm just gonna use, like I said, parchment paper. There's enough butter anyways. And what you do is it's just parchment paper. So just go like this. And there you have it. Don't worry if it's not fully flush, the weight of the brownie will make it flush. So let's pour everything inside. And by the way, did I say that it smells delicious? It smells super good. Of course. All that chocolate. Alright, so now that everything's in there, just spread it as even as you can. And it's supposed to be this thick, so don't you worry. And again, the parchment paper it acts beautifully as it gives it texture when you remove it from the oven. It gives it quite texture and you'll see it. And also it's super easy to remove. So when it's done, you just grab the parchment paper and remove it and it's done. And it doesn't get sticky, it's just absolutely nice. So now what we can do is remove all the excess chocolatey goodness from the spatula. And here we have it. Some awesome Candy Inspector brownies. So before I put it in the oven, again the oven is at 350. I'm just gonna remove that excess parchment paper. There we go. Parchment paper removed, and we can put it in the oven now. Good to go. Oh, and by the way, in the oven it's gonna take around, like my oven anyways, it's gonna take around 40-45 minutes at 350. So just keep an eye on it, and if you have one of those wooden sticky thingy, you can poke it in and check it if it's ready or not. But it needs to be a bit sticky. Like if it's too sticky, if it still looks like this on your piece of wood, then it's not ready yet. But if it's just like a little bit and you can see it like texture wise, it's gonna be perfect. In the meantime, what now you can do is clean everything before your wife gets angry. Okay, so now I'm at the 40-minute mark approximately. So you take a woody sticky thingy, make it sticky majiki. You look at the brownie. Oh yeah, and just poke it far. Oh, it's clearly not ready, but I'm just gonna show you, like it's getting there. It's very close. Can it zoom? Here you go. It's getting close, getting close. All right, so it's been 10 minutes now. 10 minutes more, so 50 minutes total. It looks pretty good. Let's poke it. Let's poke it right in the middle. Oh yeah. There you go. That's what you want. You see? It's a little bit less. It's a little bit more dry, and that's exactly what you want. You want this consistency. All right, let's take it out. All right, so we're taking it out. There we have it. Wow. And by the way, it smells super good. I'm not gonna poke it, not gonna play with it, but you can see the chocolate. You can see the chocolatey goodness. Oh yeah, so we'll just leave it rest for about 10-15 minutes, and then we can start cutting it and see if we succeeded. Okay, so now it's been resting for about 10 minutes. I'm just gonna show you how it's easy to remove with the parchment paper. You just grab the parchment paper and ta-da. And then you can just go slowly remove it. And you can cut it directly on it to serve it on a plate. So I'm gonna serve it on a plate. I'm going to visit some family today, so I'm gonna serve them my famous Candy Inspector brownies. So So I have my knife. It's still wet. Because I washed it, right? Stay clean. And we're just gonna cut it into squares. I highly suggest you leave it until it's way cooler than this. It's because it's still quite hot. But totally acceptable to eat while it's hot. Totally. And by the way, for some people it might look like it's too moist, but if you leave it for like next day, it's gonna be even better. It's gonna stay moist, but not as much. Alright, so I'm just gonna show you guys and gals how it looks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the moist parts is really the, part of the chocolate that's melted in there. And as it cools down, it's gonna get a bit like, less moist, but super delicious brownies. Let's do a quick taste test. I'll take a piece here, one of the edges. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. This special candy inspector brownies. Please share, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, all the ingredients are in the description. Awesomely delicious and super awesome if you serve it with some vanilla ice cream, if you want to be a crazy sugar addict. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye. I can't stop eating.